good country chord progressions and country bass riffs. If you're a country bass player, you want to know, or you should know, all of these good country chord progressions and these bass riffs. But if you don't, that's what we're here today for, and you're going to get those now. And you can use these ideas to create your own bass lines. These are just the fundamentals, the roots of country bass lines, and that's what you need. And you need to know the fundamentals before you can level up. So we dial in the fundamentals and we move up, okay? So the most popular, most classic country chord progression is going to be the 1-5. And if you don't know the Nashville number system, check out this video here first, because that's what I'm going to explain these all in using the Nashville number system. I'm not going to give you the chords, because once you know the numbers, these chord progressions can be used in any key. So you don't need to know. I'm not going to go over C major to G major. I'm just going to say the 1 and the 5, okay? So if you haven't seen that, you might want to check that out first, so you'll have an idea, know what I'm talking about. So I'll try to break down a little bit for you in this video, but definitely it's more in detail there, so check that out. So like I said, the most popular chord progression, most popular classic chord progression, you know, initially started with just the standard, the 1 and the 5. And once you had that chord progression, you created the story over top of that. And that was traditionally how they did it back in the day. Just a simple 1 and the 5 chord progression. So it would sound something like this, and then I'll dig into the little country bass riff you can use moving between those chords, okay? So we're going to start on the 1 to the 5, back to the 1. Now that's a standard country bass riff that is used a lot in the lower tetrachord, walking up to the upper tetrachord, which would be G, because you just break that major scale down into half. You've got an upper, a lower, and an upper tetrachord. And the lower end is starting on the root, and then the upper is starting on the 5th, walking up to the root, okay? So that's 1. That's using our basic 1 and 5 chord progression. Now that is standard country right there. That is what it's started out with, and then they've kind of improved on it through the years and made it just gotten a little bit better, and adding just a lot more to it, which we'll get into now. So the next one's going to be our basic 1, 4, and 5. Now if you've watched any of my videos, you've seen me talk about that one. That's more of your, you know, it has a little more movement in it, and it's not as, you know, the 1 and the 5, there's just not a lot going on in that. It's really the story that's what's going to capture the people's attention, not the bass line. But like I said, if you did the 1 and 5, there's been lots of, you know, classic rock music that they just utilize the 1 and the 5 as well. But there's a lot more going on, and they just, you know, they do a little more movement. The bass line's a little more freer to open up and, you know, express. The bassist can express himself a little more in, you know, some other genres. But in country, you just want to lay down those root notes and maybe give it a little taste with a 1-5 move, or, you know, walking up with that simple country bass riff, walking right up to the next chord progression, next chord, and just that. You just want to stay in the pocket as a country bassist. Without a doubt, okay? There's no doubt about that. That's what you want to do. That's what you got to do to be a country bassist. The 1, 4, 5 adds a little color to it, a little more flavor. It has evolved since the 1, 5, okay? And then it's evolved even more than that. So the 1, 4, and the 5. So you just got. So that's just your basic 4-bar, 1, 4, 5 chord progression right there. You just hang on the C, the 1 a little longer at the end, because you're playing it for 2 bars, and you're starting at the top with the C. So it seems like you're there a little longer, which you are. You're there to last at the 4th bar and the 1st bar. So, and it's again using that tetrachord, and you just walk back down the tetrachord, and you can do, like I said, you can add, just because you're in the key of C. Okay, say we're in the key of C. This F sharp is not in that key, but if you use it as a passing tone, it works nicely. Because it really pushes you into that 5 chord, okay? Using that little passing tone right there pushes you into that 5 chord, and it gives it a lot of taste, and that gives it a lot of color, and that helps a lot of times. And you will see a lot of country bassists do that. You'll see a lot of any kind of any kind of bassist doing that. Jazz bassist, anybody. That is a great idea. You can do it in anything. Just adding, not necessarily in the key, but it's just building that little bit of tension and then you're resolving it to the half step up. Okay. Okay. So that's another idea. Just add that passing tone in there. Number 2, country chord progression. Number 3, country chord progression gets a little more intricate. And like I said, this is a lot of, not this particular chord progression, but Willie Nelson uses a lot. A lot of his music has his music is just something else. It's intricate. You think it's just country music, but his stuff's real intricate. It's not your basic stuff. He's got some melodies, some notes in there that just, you think it would go to here, but Willie just takes it there. He takes it somewhere else that's unexpected. And that's what makes it his style just so unique. But this chord progression is going to be one that I've talked about in my blues videos and stuff like that. And it's a blues turnaround. It's used a lot for turnarounds, but some songs have it as just their entire verse chord progression or chorus chord progression. But it is the 1, the 6, the 2, the 5, and the 1. Okay, 1, 6, 2, 5, 1. You'll hear that terminology a lot in chord progressions. It's more, like I said, it's a little more going on. It's a little more intricate, but it's fun. It's real fun. It adds a lot of color. So here we go. Okay, so that's it. That's your basic, and I'm just using the chords, walking up to staying in the key, walking up to each note, right from the next note. Because that's why these flow so good, because they're all right there, right in that area, and they move good. And that one adds the minor in there, the 6th minor, and the 2nd minor, which gives it a whole lot more emotion. There's a potential to add some more emotion to this with having the minors in there as well as not just the majors. So that's just going to be, and then I'll show you a little lick here that you can do coming out of that's kind of nice too. So we've got we're starting the 1, and then we walk down from the C to the 6th. You walk down because that's the 6th of the C major scale. And we're just doing the 1 and 5 moves. That's all we're doing. A to E, and then we walk up. D, we're doing a 1 and 5. Walk up to the G, and then we just stay in the octave. We just stay on D, but we're just doing the 1 and 5 in the octave. And we actually we come down to the G. Right back up to the C. So it's pretty simple, and that's what country music does a lot. They just move it, they dictate the next chord by their bass line, and that's what it's meant to do. That's the whole purpose of it. You want to lead the people around to their feeling. You want to lead them around to where the song is going, and to where these chords have a direction. They're not just out there laying just any old place. You want to lead them to that chord progression, or to that next chord. Passing tones, chord tones, you want to use all of those, but that gets a little more we'll talk about that and more stuff. But definitely, if you haven't yet subscribed, hit that bell notification, get in the loop, and don't miss a beat. I've got lots of stuff on country bass lessons, classic rock bass lessons, blues bass lessons, all that stuff there. So definitely subscribe if you want to get, all the fundamentals of improving as a bassist. Definitely subscribe. And if you don't know me by now, I'm Donald Witt, the bass instructor of the How to Play Bass online course at iwanttoPlayBass.com. Jump over there, just subscribe, become a member for free by subscribing, and get a free ebook on setting your bass up. Everything you need to know how to set your bass up. And when you're serious about your bass playing, go ahead and sign up, and you get a new lesson every single day once you become a full member. And it's everything you need to know about bass. So learning how to play bass, get to where you want to get to, everything you need to know right there. Okay, so back to it. I've got a little lick here that's you can use, that's real popular. The idea is popular, but you use it how you want to use it. But it's just basically using the sixth interval. Okay, so that's the lick. So we're coming from that G, coming from the 5 and getting ready to go back to the top, back to the 1. And you just want to do a little lick. So just use it right there instead of just making it boring and walking back in. I won't say boring, I hate to use that word, but it's just something that's just less interesting, or definitely something that's been overused, So this hasn't been. It's a little idea there, and just go, so you've got the 6 there that gives it some color. That interval from the G to the E is a 6th interval, and it's got a lot of color in itself, just that interval. And then you go back to the D, and then you use a half step below C, which is going to make us resolve to the C. It's going to give us that. It feels good to go back to that C. It's a good feeling. And then if you can just hold that note, if you're depending on your phrase you're using and the rhythm you're using, you hold that B a little longer, and that really gives them a lot more satisfaction back to the C. Okay, so just some resolution ideas that, and that'll help you make your lines that much better, sound that much better, and just give your audience that much more emotion when you do those kinds of stuff. Okay, so that is country chord progressions, good country chord progressions that are popular and used a lot that you need to know as a country bass player, and some country bass riffs there to enjoy also. Okay, so check out these videos here. I've got upbeat country music songs, some blues turnaround stuff going on there, and some free bass lessons down below. So definitely check those out, and I'll see you in those videos.